Guys, I kind of smell like a pizza shop right now. I smell like the seedy underbelly of Sicily right now, guys. Hey everybody, and welcome to the HeyPoorPodcast. This is Dead Pixels, and today we're going to talk about our most anticipated games of 2013. We got the full staff here today. Right now, we got Trevor,
Sup?
Burt,
Hey there, internets.
and our new reviews editor, Jay.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so what's everybody looking forward to for 2013?
Everything.
Every last game?
Rubbing it in the Mayans' face for a full year.
Yes.
Yeah, we survived. We weren't destroyed. Fantastic. More games to play.
We can do this like a round robin thing, or we're just going to talk about like all of them.
Whoever wants.
We all shout them at once.
All right. Counting down.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start it off. Right now, I'm really looking forward to Aliens: Colonial Marines. Game's been in development 6 years. Gearbox Interactive. Finally cranking it out next month, I believe, on the 13th. It's looking awesome. 4-player co-op. Anyone else looking forward to this?
Oh shit, yes.
Yeah, maybe it'll be better than the last game that they brought back from development hell.
Yeah, Aliens Predator, the last iteration of that, not so good. It looked really nice, really polished, couldn't play it.
You were talking about Duke Nukem Forever, huh?
Yeah, the previous game that's been developed forever that Gearbox took over.
That was steaming pile of shit. But you know what? It's exactly what you should expect. It's Duke Nukem. He wasn't going to change. He's a stubborn bastard.
That's true.
Very true.
I will admit that with Gearbox at the wheel of the Aliens game, coming out in February, I'm hoping for good things, and even more, I'm hoping that Handsome Jack will be in it.
Yeah, not much of a chance of that.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be
of it.
either, but that would be pretty awesome.
I turned his brains into spaghetti sauce. He's not coming back.
No, he ain't coming back.
Oh, come on, we live in the age of prequels.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to, we don't really get co-op full campaigns lately. Usually we get some kind of side diversion, like Far Cry 3. The co-op's enjoyable in that, but everything's a lot more linear. The enemy AI not so smart. Seeing 4-player drop in, drop out co-op from start to finish in the campaign, playing as a squad of Marines should be pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing through the game from start to finish with some friends.
Yeah, and I have to say that the whole co-op campaign, Gearbox are like masters of that with Borderlands 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence with that particular development house. They do really good work.
Yeah.
Now, what system do you guys plan to pick it up for now? I'm kind of, I love Live's infrastructure. I typically try to get my games on 360 when I plan on playing with friends. But looking at the Wii U, I don't know, guys. I might have to get 2 copies, or I might go for that, because I'm itching to see my motion tracker on my Wii U gamepad. And that's going to make all the difference, I think.
Well, I don't plan on buying a Wii U for a while, so I'm probably going to get it for 360.
Yeah, likewise for me. Right now, I don't got the budget to go sink into a new game system, so Xbox it is. I've already got mine pre-ordered.
How many kidneys do you have, motherfucker?
I like to keep both. Thank you very much.
I don't know, man. Turning them into classic plastics, it's not a crime.
No, I'm definitely getting it on Wii U. That's kind of one of the reasons I got this system. Like the Alien series, I've played a couple of the other games. The original movies they're based on, those are some of my favorite movies of all time. And it just looked like an interesting experience. That's definitely why I'm getting it for the Wii U.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, have you actually messed with the Wii U's online gameplay at all? Because I haven't even bothered yet, to tell you the truth. And that's probably going to be the one thing that's going to have me on the fence on getting it on the Wii if it's not, if matchmaking's too much of a hassle or...
Yeah, I tried to mess around with it with Assassin's Creed 3, but I just couldn't. There wasn't really anyone else playing it because no one was really playing Assassin's Creed 3 because they were probably playing good games, which I wish I had been doing too. But I haven't really done much with it now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like right now there's a whole lot of online-enabled games available for the Wii U, besides Assassin's Creed 3. That seems about it.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Call of Duty. I think there was some kind of shoehorned in online function for Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, but haven't really heard much about it, to tell you the truth, so can't really put in my 2 cents there. No, that's actually all local multiplayer.
Oh, you'd think that what with Left 4 Dead and everything making a huge impression that they would have gone the extra mile on that.
You're talking about Ubisoft.
True.
No, we're talking. Yeah.
They're not really. At least I can't think of any noteworthy online experiences I've had with an Ubisoft game.
Here, just take your shit and play it the Ubisoft way.
Year
You will
after
play
year.
what we give you and like it.
Yep. Now, aside from Colonial Marines, slaughtering the Xenomorphs, I'm also really excited to take on some Necromorphs in Dead Space 3. This is coming out in 2 weeks, so it should actually be out February 5th. And it's looking pretty awesome. Again, this has drop-in, drop-out co-op gameplay. It'll be interesting to see if Visceral Games is able to keep the horror and tension of the first 2 games while adding another player into the mix. Hopefully we don't experience something like we did with Resident Evil 5, where having another AI-controlled player takes a lot of the thrills out of the experience and relieves you from a lot of that tension, because the suffocating atmosphere and dread that surround you in the first 2 games was just the main reason to play it. It was seriously like Event Horizon, the game. I loved it. It scared the shit out of me multiple times. I can't wait to play it again. And if they can get that experience encapsulated in Dead Space 3 with a co-op setup, it's going to be fantastic. Now, one thing I really like I've been reading about is the fact that both characters that you play as actually are suffering their own mental breakdowns, and they'll actually have hallucinations that the other character can't see, and you'll have to protect them during these episodes. And it seems like it could create some really hectic, tense moments, and I'm just looking forward to see how that plays out. The demo is going to be up on January 22nd, which is next Tuesday. So, pretty eager to see how it goes.
Now, help allay some of my fears here, though, about this title, though, Frank, because from what I had heard initially, and things may have changed, I haven't kept my ear close to the ground on it, but I heard that they really Gears Award that shit up, and that does a lot towards taking the horror tension out of the game.
There will be a stop and pop cover mechanic, and I don't know how necessary that is in Dead Space. And I noticed, at least from a lot of the screens and video I've seen, the environments seem a lot better lit than they did in the first 2 games. And, the darkness added, again, a lot to the tension and atmosphere of the other 2 games. So I'm hoping it doesn't, for the sake of becoming more accessible, become more of a stop and pop third-person shooter. I hope it keeps the horror elements. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see, really.
Because ultimately, when you look at a horror game, stop and pop is the wrong kind of form for it. And if you look at all the good survival horror games, things like Silent Hill, things like Resident Evil, things like Dead Space, it's all resource management. When you run out of that last bullet, you best be ready to run your ass off or get eaten by what's chasing you.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this game so great.
Yeah, it's what puts the central kick in it. If they abandon that, I don't know how excited I'm going to be about that one, but you're right. Dead Space 1, which is the only one I've played, I'm always late to the game to things, hence the column name. I still haven't beaten Dead Space 1 yet, but I played it enough to realize, holy shit, don't play this before bed. That's a horrible idea. Don't do that.
Yeah, but you can't play it during the day. That kills everything. Just don't sleep at night. Clowns will eat you.
We'll have time to sleep when we're dead, or necromorphs.
Exactly, or necromorphs. How about you guys? Trevor, Jay, you guys looking forward to Dead Space 3 at all?
I haven't really had much experience with Dead Space. I played some of 2 and enjoyed what I played. It's just one of those series I mean to check out. 3 looks interesting. As I usually am, I'm really worried about what the Connect functionality is going to do, because I just don't like the Connect at all. I feel like the voice functionality just doesn't. I mean, it can be well integrated, but it can really easily be badly integrated, even just with voice controls. I feel like that's going to either make or break it as sort of the new ideas that they put into it. Right.
Well, I think that in Mass Effect 3, and I think it's a similar way that they're trying to integrate it into Dead Space 3, it functioned really well. I seldom had to repeat myself in Mass Effect 3. It worked like a charm. I think in the right developer's hands, it could be an awesome tool, but it's not going to replace the standard gamepad.
Right.
Yeah, and Dead Space series has been one that's kind of fallen under my radar. I haven't really played any of them. They've always looked interesting, and I've always liked what I've heard about them. But it's definitely one I plan on checking out. But I would really prefer to play the first 2 before I try out the third one.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, being this all focuses around Isaac Clarke, the central character, you definitely have to play him from the first game to last to really appreciate the story. Now, lastly on my list, I'm really, really looking forward to Shadowgate. Now, you guys might have saw I've covered it several times in the past. We interviewed Dave Marsh, who was one of the creators of the game, along with Carl Roloffs, and just hearing the excitement from these guys, they're so amped to bring this back. Shadowgate 25th year anniversary edition is going to feature a bunch of new rooms, new story content, gorgeous HD visuals. This is the game that those guys really look forward that they wanted to bring out back, before technology could actually realize their dream. And it's awesome seeing it fleshed out this way. It's going to be coming out on iOS formats, Android and PC and Mac, and seriously, if you're a fan of point-and-click adventures, you really owe it to yourself to check this game out. I've been a fan of it since, God, 89 or so when I first played it. And the storytelling, not really there. They're finally going to be able to flesh that out now. But just the world is brilliantly designed. The puzzles, they're great. It's definitely a game to check out. Now, if you guys want to contribute to it, the Kickstarter campaign, they actually raised, let's see here, I have it in front of me.
That's still going?
Well, the Kickstarter itself raised $130,000, so they went beyond their goal. Their original goal was $120,000. Now, that reached some stretch goals there, so they're actually expanding the castle and then adding 15% more locations to the total game, along with some stuff on the Wizard Lackmere, who's the main villain in the Circle of 12, which was a group he was actually a member of before he went batshit crazy. Definitely you're getting a little more content out of it, and they're still actually trying to reach these stretch goals all the way up to $150,000. Well, they'll expand on multiple things. First, they'll support the Ouya console. They'll also expand the spell system, and they'll have more Hiroyuki Masuno-inspired music by Rich Douglas, which was Hiroyuki Masuno was the original composer of the NES game. Really, you can still go to their site, zojoy.com, and donate through PayPal, and they're still looking to get towards these goals even though the Kickstarter campaign's closed. So, seriously, anyone looking for an awesome adventure, you haven't played it in the past, experience it for the first time, definitely check this game out. It's going to be killer, and that's scheduled to come out sometime this fall, rather. So that's pretty much what I'm looking forward to this year. How about you guys?
Well, I know that like we had mentioned before, me, like a lot of people, I'm a huge fan of both of the BioShock games. So Infinite coming out this year. There's been a lot of good stuff that they've been showing for video for it, and it's one of those things I'm looking forward to it so much. I don't want to know about the story. I'm not looking at Game Insider articles. I'm not looking up anything like that. The only thing I watch are the pretty visuals, and I'm hoping that there's going to be good stuff to come with it.
Yeah. I really hope they can do. I mean, I really hope they can. Forgot where I was going with that.
Do justice to the first two?
Yeah, have the same impact that the first BioShock, because the second BioShock, it seemed like it was too much of a sequel, I mean, especially with the big sister, you never really felt like any fight with her had any sort of impact other than just to waste time.
Yeah. Well, BioShock 2 was made by a completely, mostly at least different team than the first game, and then most of the people from the first game have some involvement in this new game. And this was actually on my list too, so I'll save most of what I have to say for that, but I think this is going to at least be closer to on par with the first one. Even if it's disappointing, I think it's just from the people who are involved are people who we can trust to do it justice.
Well, right. the thing for BioShock with me too is that for me, the 1 and 2, it was all about being in Rapture again. I had a friend of mine who kind of looked down at BioShock 2 and he said, you know what? It's essentially the first game with escort missions, which I hate, and ultimately it's the same game. At which point I said, that's not something that should come with a condemnation. That's something that should come with balloons. Being able to hang out in Rapture again and, continue to unfold that rich environment. Going back to Rapture, hell, this is making me want to go and plug it in and play it again right now because they seemed so good at setting up the world. And what I'm seeing from the visuals, everything looks really tightly put together. And then there seems to be that cross-world thing that seems to be going on there as well. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it, and, how and if it ties into anything with Rapture, because it really looks different but it still has the same kind of vibe. The same design elements are in play.
Yeah, and speaking of visuals, I mean, one of the things that I thought was really striking, and I love the color palette and the way the shadows look, because it looks like paintings from that era of America. And I mean, they made it look like a painting from like the colonial or the late 1800s era of America. I think that looks really amazing.
Yeah, and not to wax too philosophical about it, but I mean, growing up as a kid in the 80s and watching Atari explode into 8-bit and just seeing things get more and more developed, the more we go down the road with games, the more you just can kind of look at these things as actual pieces of art.
Right.
Like, I don't know if anybody else had that experience playing Braid. It's essentially Mario with really inventive gameplay, and you're playing in a painting. How badass is that?
Yes, I love Braid for that.
Other than... Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine, Brett.
Other than BioShock, I know that because, I was late to the game on the original one, the sequel for Dead Island comes out this year. And that's another one I'm looking forward to. From the instant the last one stopped, you're like, oh, you're going to give me the cliffhanger ending, aren't you? You douchebags. When's the next one? When's it coming? I want to start playing it now. And I've been waiting for that one to come out for a little while, too. It could just be because I have that whole zombie thing going on, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting back in there with Sam B and hitting some bitches with some baseball bats.
Yeah, it looks like they're really going to have a greater emphasis, too, on siege moments. Like, I saw some footage of you're in some house on a hill, and you're setting the whole perimeter up with landmines and traps, and you're just waiting for that oh shit moment where you just get ransacked by a horde of undead. And those are the kind of moments, that you really appreciate in a zombie game where, you're looking down the foaming, bloody mouth of a ghoul as they're just going to bum rush you and rip you to shreds. And it's going to be awesome seeing that pan out if it does the way that they're looking to set it up. There's just intense moments where you're completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of integral to the game. I mean, you kind of get your feet under you in the first one, going through the resort town, and the instant you hit Moresby. No, all of that easy shit, that's about to change.
Right.
We're going to start throwing all sorts of stuff at you, and it's going to get hard. I'm wondering if we'll still have, what most games have, which is the boring tutorial level in which you start, or whether or not they're just going to go balls out and go diving right back into it where you left off.
I'm sure they're going to do the boring tutorial.
Intensive. Other than that, the last one that I'm really looking forward to, and like we had mentioned, it's a reach. If they push out Watch Dogs on time, oh holy shit, yes, that looks like it's going to be Deus Ex: Human Revolution on steroids. Daddy won.
I loved the E3 showing from last year of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely on my radar.
It's going to be interesting to see how well it carries over to consoles, because you can tell they were using some pretty hefty hardware to render that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we've also got next generation consoles coming out on the horizon too, within 2 years.
No, so I anticipate next November.
Yeah, if they decide to be slack-ass about it so that they can, go ahead and release it on new hardware, that might help, but we have to wait longer, and then it's not a 2013 release, and I really want to play that game.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed for PS3 and 360 at this point.
According to Wiki.
If it's on Wiki, it's got to be true.
Exactly.
Yep.
Why would anyone
on the internet?
rely on Wikipedia?
Come on. Totally non-ad generated, donated site. Yeah, it's totally accurate. They have fact checkers galore.
Hold on, I'm just going to edit 360 and PS3 in there. Give me a second.
Is it coming out on that? It is now.
And on Vectrex.
The developers look at the Wikipedia
Virtual
page.
Boy.
The developers look at the Wikipedia page. Oh shit! I didn't know we confirmed that. When did this happen?
But other than that, that's what I got for 2013. Other than that, I got nothing. Here's a rabbit with a bunny. Here's a rabbit with a pancake on its head.
I guess I'll go next. I have to say my number one anticipated game of 2013 is GTA 5. I have been a huge GTA fan ever since number 3, and even after playing number 3 is when I even decided to go back and check out the GTA 1 and 2, and those were okay. but I really think that GTA 3 is definitely where they found their niche, I guess. And what intrigues me most about GTA 5 is it seems like they've brought back some of that quirky social commentary humor that was kind of missing a lot from GTA 4. It seems like GTA 5 doesn't really take itself quite as seriously as GTA 4 did. And that's one of the things that over the past couple of years I've noticed in video games, that video games are trying to take themselves too seriously. I mean, that's why one of my favorite games is Time Splitters 3, because it's just a funny, fun game. But, good luck finding any first-person shooter nowadays with that kind of tone,
Right.
And I really am excited to see the world, because what they've said, last I've heard, they say it's going to be bigger than GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption, and San Andreas combined.
Holy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Looking at the trailers, I mean, you could just see the vast stretches of countryside, fields, giant, the giant metropolis, Vinewood. I mean, it looks like they really took, like you said, everything out of GTA 3 and just, turned the dial to 11. It looks like it's going to be a huge, exciting world to explore.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So long as they don't make State of Emergency again, we're all good.
Oh, fuck.
God.
That's probably the first time that game's been mentioned in 10 years, my friend.
Hopefully the last.
Don't wake that sleeping dinosaur up, please.
Yeah, make it the last time, too.
The mines are going to change their mind, dude.
So, I guess other than that, I recently got a 3DS, finally. Another one I'm looking for is Animal Crossing. I missed the GameCube version, but I have been playing since the DS version, and I have both the DS version and the CD Folk for the Wii. And I just love, it's one of the best games to do if you just want to kill some time and relax. And all the new stuff that they've brought in from this that I can see, like you can go swimming in the ponds and the lakes, and you get to choose where all the buildings are instead of, just your random town generated, and, the Nook's place and the museum and all that stuff are in these little preset things. You get to choose what's there. The character models have changed, so there's even more clothing options like pants. Go figure. And little things like you can finally rotate. Oh, what?
Because if you don't wear pants, you get arrested.
Exactly. McCopper and Booker.
Hey, Nook never said you needed pants for service, man.
That's true. All he wears is an apron.
Solomon Grundy want pants too.
Didn't buy any food from that shop. That squirrel's got his nuts all over everything.
God.
Yeah, I mean, it really does look amazing. Like, and just all the customization. And one of the things that I kind of geeked out about is, if you get some sort of wall clock, you can actually put it on your wall instead of just a random spot on the floor, which is really annoying because, you can put some things on tables, but some clocks that you think would fit on a table won't go on a table, and it's just really weird. So
right.
You have to have this wall clock, but it's just sitting on your floor.
Yeah, that was one of my beefs with the other versions, too. It seemed like you're pretty much just sliding things around the floor, and eventually you just run out of space.
Right.
So it'll be nice to have some more options setting your stuff around. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. That's definitely looking forward to that one.
Now,
I guess,
do you know if it's going to support crossplay with the DS version?
I doubt it because of all the new stuff. I don't think it would work. They might do it with that, was it the suitcase thing, where if you have a bunch of, items and stuff, you'll be able to do it like maybe from City Folk over to that, like you could from the DS version to City Folk.
Right.
But I doubt there will be actual, like, you could visit someone's town on the DS. But who knows? I don't know.
Because I could have swore that a 3DS version is slated for release around the same time. Let me see.
Wait, what?
A 3DS version. I think it's slated for release.
No, is it?
I'm
is
sorry.
the 3DS
Okay,
version.
I was thinking the Wii U.
I haven't heard about any Wii U release for it, actually.
No, I think you're right. Sorry about that.
I guess in the last one that I can think of, which is kind of weird because I don't own a PS3, but I really like what I've seen so far of The Last of Us.
Yeah,
That's the one. I believe it's developed by Naughty Dog, and they also did. Was it
Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted. That's another one of the things I've really wanted to play, but it's only on PS3, and I still can't afford one right now. But yeah, The Last of Us. It's cool because I usually hate kids in media because people don't know how to write them. But the girl in there seems like really well written and actually a likable character, and her AI seems to actually help you. At least, from the demos and stuff that they've shown off.
Are you thinking about what she throws the brick at the guy's head?
Yeah,
as
she
he's
sees that
attacking
waiting, and she
Joel?
throws the brick at him and it knocks him, disorients him so you can get the upper hand and stuff. I mean, that just looks really cool.
That's another thing. Just from looking at the footage, I would love to see just how much of those instances are actually scripted, because it's so hard to imagine all the cinematic angles, smashing the guy's head into the cupboard, the way she just happened to hide, and get the guy's attention. Like, it seems like these things happen too dynamically to be legit. And
Right.
It'll be really interesting to see if that's actually the way the game plays out, or if you see these similar circumstances every time you play these areas.
Right.
If it's even half as organic as the footage makes it look, because if I remember correctly, the footage we're talking about is the E3 stuff, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a guy there actually playing the game? They show him up there with the controller going through everything and just kind of working things out. If the gameplay really is that smooth, and I understand there's always some kind of rail that you're on for somewhere and repeated behaviors and things like that, but it was just, you're captivated watching it.
Oh,
I remember I just sat there for 6 minutes going, oh my God, why is this not on the shelf and in my hand right now?
It was just unreal watching, like you were saying, how organically he just maneuvered around the environment and utilized set pieces actually into the combat. Like I said, with the brick and the nightstand and everything else. It's just, if these are actually dynamic events that happen in the game, then they're raising all sorts of bars. I mean, this is going to take not just, storytelling and action to a whole new level, but really just the way AI interacts with players. It's definitely it's going to be the game to compete with.
Yeah. And it might be the last straw that finally convinces me to buy a PS3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heavy rain is what did it for me to buy my PS3. So, God bless you. If this gets you to buy one, all right. You'll have a good Blu-ray player, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I have faith in Naughty Dog, though, because, I mean, you look at Uncharted, and games don't really get much more cinematic than that. So they definitely have a lot of experience in the field making captivating games that really pull the player into these set-piece moments. And I don't know, if anyone can pull off a game and make it look that good and still leave you in control, I do think that they can do it.
Definitely. All right, so is that it? My turn to go ahead and list off stuff.
Yep, passing the torch over to Jay.
Have that, sir.
All right, passing the torch. I'm afraid of fire. I don't know what to do with it. All right.
They're good.
So first game on my list is one that's coming out not too long from now. Actually, is Rayman Legends. Rayman Origins. I was kind of late to the game on. I played it around this time last year. And before that, I had kind of been not really much for 2D platformers. I like grew up on Nintendo from the moment I started playing games, but I was never much for Mario. But like Rayman Origins was what really turned me around on 2D platformers and made me see how awesome that kind of game can be. And so I'm really excited to see where Legends takes it. And I was actually just replaying through the demo of it for the Wii U earlier today. It seems like there's this new mechanic in it where whoever's holding the gamepad on the Wii U version of the game controls this little fly guy. I forget his name, and basically, I mean, yeah, because the name's so important. But basically, you just control him and you use that to interact with set pieces. You can sort of help the other players on the TV screen get through the level, kind of like how Mario on the Wii U works. It seems like I've played it multiplayer, the demo, and it seems like that makes a little bit of an easy mode. It sort of brings down the game's difficulty a bit, but this is just in the demo levels. I think this game is still going to be really interesting in terms of where it goes with the platforming. I was just after being totally blown away by Origins. I'm really excited to see how this turns out.
You played the Castle Rock level in the demo, right?
Yes, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. That level, those music levels are amazing.
Yes.
I can't wait to try more of those. There was another, when I went to New York Comic Con earlier this year, me and a friend of mine got to try a different demo of a different Castle Rock level than the one that's on this demo, and that one was just as amazing. I'm really excited to see how that looks too. Let me think. There's something else I wanted to say about it, but I'm drawing a blank now.
That was on Wii U only, right?
Origins? Or Legends?
The new one.
Oh yeah,
Legends?
just Wii U.
No, I think it's coming out on other consoles, but the Wii U is sort of the definitive version.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that.
I don't know. I didn't know how it would really function on the other consoles with all the gamepad specific.
I think it's just you can't do the gamepad, so I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, the art direction in it is kind of different. Like it's going for that really epic style. You know, you've got a lot more medieval look to it, and the art direction was another thing I really liked about Origins, was just how unique all the worlds and everything looked. Which from the demo, it seems like they haven't really embraced as huge a variety of different concepts. Like in the first game, in Origins, you had a world that was entirely made of like musical instruments. You had one that was entirely made of food and stuff. You had all these brilliant concepts. It seems like in this game, they're taking one concept, the sort of like epic medieval adventure concept, and driving as deeply into that one idea as they can. So it's probably going to look a little different, but I'm pretty interested to see how that looks. Anyone else have any thoughts on Legends?
I can't wait for it, honestly. Like you said, the visual style is fantastic. It just looks really imaginative. It's great seeing Rayman, on a Nintendo console, and finally in glorious HD. It looks really sharp. The gamepad functions, reading about them, they might sound sort of shoehorned in, but actually playing it, everything feels really natural and great. I enjoyed the touchscreen gameplay sessions. I thought the gyroscope functionality worked really well. And like you said, the music levels, Castle Rock blew my mind. I think I was laughing hysterically the entire level, and it's not often I play a game, and I play a level, and I want to play it immediately after I finish it, but I must have played Castle Rock 5 times. It's fantastic.
That's the one they have the demo going for in the GameStop stores, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of badass.
It's very badass.
GameStop.
Yeah, definitely on my list. Looks really good.
Okay. All right, so number 2 on my list is actually something that was just announced a few days ago, and something I wrote about on the site a little bit. Pokemon X and Y. Anyone who knows me and my writing on other places knows that I'm a huge Pokemon nut. Pokemon's basically what got me into gaming, right? So I'm still, I am still really crazy enthusiastic about any new Pokemon game that comes out, even if they're a little bit disappointing, which everyone kind of agrees. The last couple were. I know I gave White 2 a very good review, but even that was like, okay, after this, you're going to need to do something better, guys. And even just from what little we've seen so far, it looks like, with any luck, that's what we're going to see. It's the first 3DS main series Pokemon game, which, okay, guys, you're a couple years late on that, but hopefully that means they've just been working to make a really great experience, because everyone was a little disappointed Black and White weren't on Wii U. Everyone was just, Wii U, wow, 3DS, whatever that thing's called. And, the same thing with Black 2 and White 2, which I was as well, but, those are still good games. I think the amount of time it took them to get this out is going to really prove how good it is. Like, they've got an entirely different structure of how the overworld looks. It's all in full 3D now. It's just a very different look, and you can sort of see, or at least I can see as someone who plays way too much Pokemon, how the sort of the more camera integrated 3D style of Black and White were sort of a stepping stone into how things look in the trailer for this new game.
Right.
Yeah. I have to say, this is the first time I've been excited about a Pokemon game in a very long time.
Yeah, and I completely understand why. It's because it looks different, where even like the DS ones didn't really look different. Like, Pokemon hasn't looked different from other Pokemon games in ever, pretty much. Like, Black and White did a little bit, but, like, if there's one complaint I have with one of my favorite series, it's that it's kind of repetitive.
Right.
Like, it's Nintendo's Call of Duty. I hate to say it, but it is. It comes out every year, and it's pretty much the same. And I'm the guy who buys it every year and loves it, even though it's the same.
I think the most adventurous they got was Pokemon Snap, to tell you the truth.
Let's have them come out with an FPS Pokemon. Give Pikachu a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, and just let him completely and totally lay waste to everything else. That'd get me to play.
Pokemon Black Ops.
That would get me to never play again. But
yeah, different styles of gamer. I'll ease up off you. I know I'm the grumpy old man in the group here.
Now,
No,
one
no.
question: are they moving to full 3D models as well for the?
Yeah,
combat?
they are. Yeah,
Okay.
if you look at the trailer, basically they have it's almost for the battle scenes. It's almost like I would kind of equate it to the way Wind Waker looked, where it's very cell shaded,
Right.
3D format, and the camera's moving around through the whole battle. Basically, think Pokemon Stadium, but cell shaded. It looks really pretty.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the new Pokemon they showed, I'm not super crazy about the designs for the starters, except for the fox, because foxes are adorable. But the legendary Pokemon, the two like big flagship Pokemon for the new game, are a couple of my favorite designs. I think they're going to show some signs of interesting new art direction in terms of Pokemon designs, which I know some people had problems with some of the designs in Black and White. Like there's an ice cream Pokemon I know, like that made a lot of people.
Trash bag Pokemon.
Yeah, the trash bag. No one likes the
What
trash
the
bag.
fuck?
Nobody likes Trubbish.
Trash bag Pokemon. Wow.
Yes. And
Yep,
it evolves into a bigger pile
bigger
of
one.
trash, but the same size bag.
They just
Yep.
keep throwing dead Pokemon into it.
They are legion.
They keep throwing better ideas into it.
Gotta kill them all, then catch them all, and here's this bag to do it in.
There you go.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see that. My third game, my last one I have is, as was already mentioned, BioShock Infinite. Like with Pokemon, BioShock is also like the original BioShock, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm kind of saying the same things about art direction and stuff, but the art direction that was stellar. Everything about that game just endears you to love it, for better or for worse. Like just from the horror aspects of it to the uniqueness of that world. I never played 2 because everyone said it was kind of subpar. Again, it was made by a different studio. Infinite looks like it's bringing back the innovation of the third one. It's got this crazy, unique world of Columbia, is it called?
Yes, New
Yeah.
Columbia, I believe.
Yeah, this beautifully unique world. These new characters, like was mentioned, it has a little bit more of a unique art style to it, which I'm like, as you probably guessed, I'm a sucker for interesting art styles in games.
Oh, the whole game looks like a ticker tape parade. It looks awesome.
It's the style that Dishonored tried to get and fell on its face in the process of doing it.
Exactly. I'm a little interested to see how the world is traversed through. Like they've talked about how it's basically a flying city on all these different like clusters of buildings in the sky, and you've got these little sort of just ropeways you slide across to get in between them or whatever. I'm interested to see how that works. I'm concerned it might make the game a little too linear. Anyone else have thoughts on that?
The same thought had crossed my mind.
Yeah, that's the exact same thought here too.
Yeah, it should be. I feel like, all right, I'm stammering here. Even if it is linear, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because there's a certain amount of linearity to the first BioShock as well. But it's just as long as it isn't too in your face linear. Like if it's clearly like I go to this cluster of buildings, kill this dude. If it's repetitively linear, then it's a problem. But as long as they change up what's going on all these different areas, I'm confident in it being fresh enough to keep you going, even if it is a more linear structure, just because of the way the world's set up.
Right.
One thing that's... I'm sorry, Trevor?
I was going to say, yeah, because the first BioShock was linear, but each area told its own little backstory, too, and that's what made it... It made you not care that it was linear.
You always had a guide that was taking you through it, or a goal or objective that would tie it together.
Yeah,
I love the guy who's like, here's a camera. I need you to go out and get this guy, and this guy, and prove to me that they're dead and bring the photos back here.
Right.
Then you get the awesome achievement if you take the picture of the guy after, you off him. But they always had those little vignettes. And so long as you've got that, vignettes could get you through a couple of different zones. You might have to go back and revisit and grab something.
Yeah, and a couple of those vignettes are just as strong as the main story. Like, I remember really vividly the whole section with the actor guy,
right,
who has you find these other characters and kill them for him. Like, yeah, all these different little stories within the bigger story, and you see how the world impacted them and made them how they are. And if they bring that back in this game, it'll be fantastic. That's what I'm hoping happens narratively with that game.
Is it as far as mechanics go? One thing that's kind of worried me a little bit, and I'm hoping they address it, or at least have a way to disable it. But regeneration stations. I hope to fuck they get rid of them. And my main beef, honestly, is the fact that, they come up with these amazing enemies. You look at the Big Daddies, some of the creatures they have in Bioshock Infinite, I can't recall, but the giant Uncle Sam looking bastards with the huge hands.
There's a lot of cool ones.
They strike fear into you. They look terrifying, but a lot of that is neutralized. The moment they completely gore you, you go through all your ammo, and you keep coming back 10 feet away from these regeneration stations, throwing flaming teddy bears at them until they die. There's absolutely no consequence. These people who are natives of Rapture and Columbia, they don't have this issue. They stay dead when you kill them, but you're this interloper. You come in here and you're completely destroyed, and you just come back 10 feet away using their tech. Why can't they do the same? It gets rid of a lot of the tension, and it just makes things kind of silly after a while when you can just keep throwing your body against these massive destruction machines until they're wiped out.
I think you're looking at it the wrong way, though. Take a look at it from Handsome Jack's perspective. It should be taking money from you. Hyperion Corporation makes money every time you die.
Yeah.
Hell, the machine encourages you. You may want to die a couple more times so you get the hang of it.
Right.
Right.
But it's hard to suspend your disbelief there when you're seeing, again, these piles of bodies right in front of this regeneration station that can't use it. You just keep coming back and coming back.
Would you kindly put money into the regeneration station?
Exactly. Would you kindly? So, I don't know. I'm just hoping to get rid of some silly stuff like that, because really they create some awesome villains, some awesome enemies, and I want to be scared shitless, guys. I want to feel like encountering these things is a serious threat, and I want to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, that was the strength of the first game, I think, or part of it was the atmosphere, the terrifying atmosphere.
Right.
The enemies made that atmosphere.
I mean, they hyped the Big Daddies up so much before the game came out. You see the footage and you're like, I don't want to cross this dude. He's going to grind me to dust.
Yeah.
And then you find out they're really not a threat, at least from a mechanical standpoint.
That game did have a high threat value. I remember I was new to Xbox when somebody put the controller in my hand for Bioshock, and they just sent those splicers after me, and I'm like, this is hard. And I actually had to go and put it on easy for a little while and get used to the game style play before I could, grow a pair and put it up to normal mode and take it from there. So, it definitely did throw a lot of that balls out terror at you, and you had to get used to it. I literally, it was like having to learn how to do that shit all over again.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me.
All right, well, that's everybody's top 3 games of 2013 that they're looking forward to. I just wanted to move on to a quick news article here. I found this interesting today, but Wastelands Interactive is actually working on a pretty interesting sounding game where it puts you in the shoes of Joseph Stalin. Now, it's no mystery. Stalin was a dick, and he killed millions of his own people and imprisoned them in gulags in Siberia where they died horrible deaths, working in the freezing cold. But aside from that, they are embracing his military victories, and they want you to, too. So they're going to be putting this out, new details, such as the actual title. Right now it's Project Stalin, and the game's features are going to be coming out a little down the road here. But from what we know right now, it's going to be a turn-based, blah, blah, blah.
Turn-based strategy game?
Turn-based strategy game, yeah.
There you go.
Thank God for editing.
I'm here for you, Franny.
Well, I'm skimming through the article here. But, it's going to be a turn-based strategy game. It's, you're going to be able to crush dissidents and anyone who questions, allegiance to the proletariat and borscht. So it should be fun, if you're into being a notorious dick. So...
In Soviet Xbox, Project Stalin plays you.
Tropico is a fun game where basically you play, dictator of some tropical island that we will remain nameless. But still, yeah.
Rhymes with tuba.
I mean, it's a little controversial, though. I mean, obviously the guy's reviled across the world for the things he's done, but some people still see him as a hero, and, you can't really debate the fact that without him, World War II could have played out very differently than it did. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to at least toying with it and seeing how it works. It looks like it could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Are there any details? Like, is it going to play, like, Total War? Or
That's
is it going to be, like,
everything that Wastelands is released is pretty much what I told you. It's all we know right now. Turn-based strategy game. That's it.
That's something.
Yep. But definitely something to keep your eyes on. Could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. I see this is the kind of game that just gets talked about by nature. Like, I mean, it's a game about Stalin, of course, going to. I think it's interesting, though. I'm all for, any idea can be interpreted into a video game form as long as it's done well. So if it's done well, let's just keep an eye on it.
It's a step above Postal.
Yeah, a little classier than Postal.
You don't got to try you don't got to try hard to be classier than Postal.
Absolutely. Now, we're coming pretty much to a close here. Let's go over what everybody's been playing lately. I guess I'll start it up, but just this past week I've played through Far Cry 3 and Persona 4 Golden, and both of them were fantastic. Really, I played through P4 back on the PS2, and I think that P4 Golden on the Vita was a perfect fit for the handheld, especially the way that, the whole game is structured around a calendar cycle. So, having these bite-sized portions on the go, playing through a couple days in one sitting, it was a great fit. And I was really happy to see it come to the handheld. The extra, Jesus Christ, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Put the bottle down, Franny.
No, the extra social links, though. The extra social links were cool. They were interesting. You had Adachi, and you had a new female character. I really enjoyed it. And again, Far Cry 3, having that whole open world structure and sublime shooting mechanics, it was the best of two genres. It was a whole lot of fun. I really loved the story. It was probably the best one I've heard in FPS in a long time, and I'm already looking forward to Far Cry 4 whenever that's released.
Now, Far Cry 3 kind of got branded as Oblivion with guns. Is that an accurate statement?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Well,
I mean,
it can't be, because Fallout 3 was Oblivion with guns.
True. And actually, I misspoke. Skyrim with guns. Essentially, yes, Oblivion Skyrim tie-in, but just to be honest, to everything that I saw on their internets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the shooting mechanics are really, really well done. Like I said, it has a very vast open world with dozens of little islands to explore and vehicles to ride, but it doesn't lose its shooter identity. The gunplay is very tight, very satisfying. The stealth elements are really well executed. It doesn't feel like it's a jumble of great ideas that didn't quite work out the way the developers had planned as a total package. Everything that's done is done extremely well, and it's an exceptional game in every regard.
Now they just need to get cracking on Time Splitters 4.
Free Radical? I'm pouring one for you right now.
Free Radical, because of the failure of Haze, they had to sell, and Crytek owns all of Free Radical and their IPs now.
Huh, it'll be interesting to see if they actually use any of them.
Yeah, if.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cozy with the crises right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
how about you guys? What have you been playing lately?
Well, it's funny. The game I've been playing should be the most boring game in the universe when you look at how it lays itself out. But Xbox Arcade basically had their promotions leading into the new year, and I saw the opportunity to basically jump on Walking Dead's game at half price. So I pick up the first one. I figured I'll go ahead. I'll give it a shot. And the way the game is set up, I mean, it's not high action. So, it's mostly you finding where the clues are, going to them, and interacting with them. But what really kind of ties it together is the good storytelling, which is, again, much like the television show. I mean, it tailors gameplay so that you have to make hard decisions. People will live or die, and that will be perpetuated into the next episode. And I got done playing the first one. I was like, oh, shit, yes. More. I'll buy the rest of these. Congratulations, you made $10 today. And I mean, it really delivers a lot of emotional punch. There's a character that gets shot in it all of a sudden out of nowhere, full on in the face, that just kind of really comes in. I'm sorry if you can hear the emergency services vehicles in the background driving by my apartment.
I can.
I'll probably hear them in a couple minutes.
Yeah, you probably will. But Walking Dead was really, really good stuff. Released Telltale Games, I think, was the studio on it.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's Telltale.
Yeah, they managed to take a really simple, stripped-down, basic system and make a very good storytelling game of it.
Well, see, that is something that point-and-click adventure players have been experiencing for 20 years now, and it seems like The Walking Dead is finally something that's gotten people who never really would pick up a point-and-click adventure before into adventure games.
Right.
Yeah, and having grown up with a lot of the point and clicks, like Shadowgate that Franny mentioned earlier,
Right.
which, Franny, I liked Shadowgate a lot, but if they put the uninvited in as an Easter egg,
Oh God, yes.
shit, yes, I'll buy it.
Well,
That'll happen.
in my interview with Dave Marsh, he had actually said that they actually own all the rights to their back catalog from Jesus Christ,
I can't bail you out on this one.
ICOM Simulation. But no, ICOM Simulations. They actually own the back catalog to all those games. So they actually, depending on how well Shadowgate does, they fully intend to bring Uninvited and Deja Vu, if there's enough interest out there, back.
Oh man, I had that Mac trilogy growing up. That got played into the ground.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly. The Uninvited scared the hell out of me as a kid. All I have to say is the Southern Belle and the Ghost Be Gone.
Yeah, you come up to that nice little Victorian house veranda, nice looking girl there, and then she turns around and she has no face.
Yes.
And then she kills you.
And eats your face.
Because she wants one.
She wants your skull. She needs your skull.
Way to go there. All right. But other than that, I mean, that's largely the game I've been playing. I've been on planes and in hotels for the past week for work. So it's mostly been handheld stuff for me, playing a lot of Words with Friends, or what should be called Words with Alienated People who used to be your friends that now want you dead. Because, I play that a lot. So mostly it's been that, but Walking Dead, I'm in the middle of episode 3 and should be able to finish it before the time we get to the next podcast.
Yeah, The Walking Dead is an absolute masterpiece. That was I believe my number 2 on my Game of the Year list. Just seeing it, how it endears you to the characters in its world and just does things that I haven't seen any other game do in I don't know how long, just in the way it narrates the story is just absolutely fantastic. I'll be really eager to hear what you think of it once you finished it.
Oh, great. And actually, that does play into your pick, actually, is what caused me to go back and reevaluate it. Because I looked at it, and you were the first person that I'd seen that had said anything about it one way or the other. Because I basically saw it, and I was like, point and click for 400 points? No thanks, I'll pass. But when the price came down and based off strength of recommendation, I gave it a shot. So far, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten a lot of Game of the Year nominations. I think Spike gave it, for whatever Spike's worth, or someone gave it their Game of the Year nomination, and it won. I know Press Pause Radio gave it the Game of the Year. It's an absolutely fantastic experience. If anyone listening hasn't checked it out because, it's a point-and-click adventure that doesn't appeal to me, or, the graphics look weird, whatever reason you have for not playing it is stupid. Play it now. That's really what it comes down to. Play it now.
And I forgot one other thing. From the Unplugged section, like I told you earlier, Franny, Shadowrun is going to have its 5th edition come out, and, that seems to be what tabletop RPGs are doing now. Well, we've run out of everything we can do. Update the system, newer and fresher. And suckers like me will go out and buy it. Much like what Pokemon mentioned earlier. Yeah, this is the same shit that we released last year, but the hardcore buyers will really buy it. And yes, I am that sucker. Yeah. And RPG books cost about the same as Pokemon games. So well played, Catalyst Games. Well played.
Now, do they hope to be streamlining the interface much in the way that D&D 4.0 did, or?
I haven't seen much other than the fact that they released they were going to do it. Now, I know that this is probably also going to tie in with a couple of things from Harebrained Studios. Shadowrun Returns, the Kickstarter project from last year, should come to fruition sometime this fall. I'm a guy who donated to it, so I'm going to get my copy of the game when it comes out. I've got my Doc Wagon card coming in the mail and everything. And also, apparently, they're going to be doing Shadowrun Universe Online. So I'm looking to see how that's going to work out, whether or not it's going to be a strategy game based abortion like we had with the Shadowrun Xbox title.
Oh, God.
Or whether or not they're actually going to try to put some MMO under it and try to take on some of the Warcraft market. Warcraft is the 800-pound gorilla that nobody seems to beat because they're the only one who's got it figured out that if you want your MMO to succeed, you have to keep putting out content. You can't just put out 60 levels and stop, because then players get bored and leave. So, I'm looking forward to that too. But with that said, I'll shut up. I'll let you guys get to what you guys want to talk about insofar as what you're playing.
Trevor, Jay?
I guess I'll go next. I've actually been playing a lot of Forza 4 since I picked up a copy at IkiCon, and I've actually managed to get 4 of my top 5 games I wish I had played last year, and I've enjoyed all of them. So yeah, Forza 4, it's not quite as simulation based as Forza Horizon is not quite as simulation based as Forza 4, but it was co-developed by the guys who did Grid, so it definitely has a less arcadey feel than like Need for Speed and things like that, which is, I really don't like that style of gameplay. But the graphics look amazing. It has a full day-night cycle, and literally every moment of the day-night cycle makes everything look like a car commercial.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you love cars, Forza Horizon is definitely a game to pick up.
And I take it this probably supports the whole 3-monitor setup that they've been touting for the past few games as well.
Actually, I don't know. I don't think it does, because I haven't seen any kind of multiple monitor options anywhere in the game.
Huh.
And actually, Forza 4 supports 6 monitors for a full 360-degree view.
That's insane.
Yeah. Other than that, I got a copy of Retro City Rampage, and I've been playing that, and that game is made of pure fun. If you guys don't have that game, get it now.
Yeah, they're advertising the hell out of it on Arcade Network.
Yeah, I got it. I actually bought it from the website. They use the Humble Bundle website to sell copies of their games directly from them. And I got it over Christmas when it was on sale for like $5 off. And you get a DRM free copy and a download for the soundtrack of the game too, if you buy it from them.
So just to kind of give me an idea of like what's great about it, like what's the game about? Because I've seen it and I haven't gotten the demo yet. I've just been too busy lately.
Yeah.
So what's its deal?
It started off, the guy who developed it probably like 4 years ago decided, hey, what if Grand Theft Auto 3 was on the NES? So from scratch he started making a Grand Theft Auto 3 clone, but within the limitations of the Nintendo Entertainment System. But then it just basically evolved from there into just basically he tried to incorporate every 80s video game reference that he could possibly do into one game. And most of it is just driving mechanics. You have some melee and shooting mechanics. There's challenges like the old Grand Theft Auto games like Rampages, where you have like 30 seconds in a weapon and score as many points as you can type thing. There's a story along with it. There's tons of customization, and I love you can do overlays to make it look like you're on an old UHF TV or like an old arcade machine. There's classic color palettes, like you can do like DOS VGA color palette, and just all kinds of stuff like that. And just the controls are tight, and it's just a vastly fun game.
Yeah, the best way to sum up, at least my experience, was that you could tell the game was just full of win and good. Was in my first major chase scene, I was pursued by the military, the police, the Ninja Turtles, and the A-Team on my way to meet Doc Brown.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I beat
Just
up Bill
take
and
my
Ted,
money.
and I stole their phone booth. It doesn't get any better than that.
Just take my money away from me. God damn it.
Well, I'm buying this as soon as this episode's over.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
It sounds amazing.
Anyone who has one iota of love for the 80s needs to own that game.
As professed by my own column, I'm broke, so I got to wait until the next paycheck comes in. But yes, that's going to happen.
It's $15.
How many kidneys do you have?
Too many, but I really like them.
He named them and everything.
Oh yeah,
Bob and Joe.
That's pretty much it for me. That's all I've really been playing past couple weeks.
All right. Well, Frank mentioned Persona 4 Golden. I've actually been playing the original Persona 4. Like I mentioned earlier, I went to New York Comic Con earlier this year, and there's millions of dealers there. It's like there's a dealer room bigger than my house there. And I had just happened upon a copy of Persona 4. I've been trying to get into the Shin Megami Tensei series. I got Devil Survivor on the DS, was enjoying that, decided, Persona 4 is the one that everyone talks about. That's the absolute classic of the series. Whatever other games in the series you like or don't like, that's the big one. So I found a special edition sealed copy of that with soundtrack and everything, so I figured, I'm getting this. And it kind of just sat on my shelf for a few months, but lately I've been getting really into it. And it's awesome. Like, this has been a year for me getting back into RPGs. Like I mentioned, Pokemon is a big thing for me. Besides that, I don't really play many RPGs. This is getting me to want to play more RPGs, but I'm not sure I'll like any other RPGs as much as I like Persona 4. It's so good. I'm not super far in it. I'm at the point where I'm fighting Kanji, his shadow right now, but I can't wait to play more of it 'cause it's absolutely fantastic.
Well, definitely play Persona 3 if you're enjoying 4 because it's basically more of the same. It's brilliant.
That's the next one on my list, yeah. Besides that, I've been playing Dishonored. For Christmas, I got Dishonored and XCOM Enemy Unknown. I haven't played much XCOM, but it's good. I just haven't been playing it because I've been playing so much Dishonored. Dishonored surprised me a lot. It's, because, it has this whole pretense of you can take the more run and gun, get right into the combat approach, or you can take the stealth approach. I figured, okay, it's going to be kind of pick one path or the other through the whole game. They managed to mix it up not by providing a bunch of different paths as much as just challenging you to find the perfect blend of different methods to get to your objectives. And I really like that. At first I thought it was just painfully difficult, but it's the right kind of challenging, in my opinion. It challenges you to try different things and toy with all these powers you're given right off the bat, because you can unlock at least the base levels of all the different powers you can have access to pretty early in the game. So it really challenges you to toy with those until you find the perfect way to get to each objective. Has anyone else played much Dishonored?
I myself haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
I played it initially, and I was really excited for it. There's something missing, but now, admittedly, I was deep in the throes of Borderlands 2 when it came out.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pull myself away, and I've been meaning to give it a second chance.
I had the same problem. That's why I waited until Christmas to get it. It's because Borderlands 2 was just eating my life. But I definitely recommend it to anyone who's on the fence about it. The art style is a little weird. It looks like it looks like BioShock mixed with like this it's cell-shaded BioShock, and it just doesn't work. It looks really ugly. Like the faces look really ugly, which to a point I think was what they were going for, because it's this whole dystopian society, and it works, but everything's ugly. Like nothing is very nice to look at. I don't know. I think if they it's done well enough. I think that I've been hearing rumors that that studio is working on talks about another game, making it a series. If they do, I would love to see them change and refine the art style and make it something that's a little more appealing, because I think it could look as good as it plays.
Well, what's interesting is that the art director is actually the same one who was responsible for Half-Life 2, and again, that game had the same kind of broken dystopian, look to the whole thing, just a really empty, joyless looking environment. And I think that from what I've seen, they kind of nail that with Dishonored, but I can see how it comes across as ugly.
It needs a little more polish. Even something that's empty and broken and post-apocalyptic can look great. Look at Fallout 3.
Right.
Yeah,
if you look at Fallout 3, I remember somebody had said, well, it's a great game if you like the color brown.
Well, hell, look at Rage.
And I said, what are you talking about? They nailed it. They did exactly what it was supposed to do. They made it look very convincing. And they almost got it. Like, their color palette's right, but it was like the resolution got turned down a notch. It's like playing a game that should have been designed for the Xbox, but with GameCube graphics.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've been feeling a lot. Like, you know how in Borderlands 2, when you first enter an area, things will sort of look really unresolution, like de-resolution, the texture isn't there, then the texture will sort of appear on everything after a minute.
Yeah.
Dishonored kind of looks like a slightly better version of the non-textured version. If you just pause it when you first enter an area, it's pretty bad sometimes. And some areas look really good, some really don't look good.
Gotcha.
But,
the dream sequence parts of Dishonored looked amazing. I was like, why doesn't the rest of the game look like this?
That really blew me away. That surprised me. Yeah. But one other thing I've been playing is I with Christmas money I got a couple 3DS games. I got Code of Princess, which is kind of hard to define. It's kind of good. It's not good, but it's like playable enough that it's almost good. I don't really need to talk about that though, because what I've been playing a lot is Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS, which is I was also really surprised by it, like Dishonored. I was very surprised by it. I haven't played many Resident Evil games. I played 4. I'm fairly uninitiated when it comes to Resident Evil. I know nobody likes 5 and nobody likes 6. That's pretty much as detailed as I know about Resident Evil. But just going into Revelations from a clean slate, it nails the horror atmosphere pretty well. Not constantly, it definitely shows that it's a newer Resident Evil game. Because I, as little as I've played of Resident Evil, I know what people don't like about it. That's become sort of a more action-oriented and horror-oriented series, and that's still there. But I think they find a balance between the horror and the action in Revelations that, from what I've seen of 6 and Operation Raccoon City and all the other recent titles, is kind of missing there.
Right. Yeah, I played it myself, and I think that it had a lot more scares than the series has had ever since. Hell, I'd say Resident Evil 4 or maybe even before. The atmosphere, like you said, was really nailed. I think that the Queen Zenonia was just a great set piece for the game. The claustrophobic hallways, the raging storms outside, the belly of the beast inside the ship. I mean, it was a great environment, and I think that it really struck a lot of right chords.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Like you're saying, the claustrophobia of it, not just in the hallways and specific locations within the ship, but just knowing that you're on a ship. There's nowhere for your character to escape.
No, you're completely isolated.
Yeah, it's a really great set. It's a really great setting, and just they find ways to work in the kind of inherent goofiness of it. Like there's a comms officer who turns out to be a boss who you hear him calling down a hallway. Mayday, mayday!
That was awesome.
That was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because you know how goofy it is, but it's still scary. Like I said, it manages to strike the right balance between horror, action, and this sort of underlying comedy to some aspects of it that I really enjoyed.
Now, did you see that it may be coming to PSN and the 360 as well? An achievements list was actually leaked. And before that, there was actually a copyright, I believe, that was issued in Korea in regards to a 360 version, but they thought that could have been a mistake.
Really?
So everything is lining up that it looks like it is going to come to the consoles probably in some kind of enhanced form. And that's pretty exciting because, again, I really enjoyed the game, though I think that some of the exclusive features of the 3DS, like the scanning functionality, I don't know how they'd be implemented on a home console aside from the Wii U. But I really enjoyed those.
I think they could work fine on a home console, but I would definitely get a console version of this title because I was about to come to my one problem with it is the single camera. Like there's, the 3DS, I don't have a Circle Pad Pro because I feel like, I don't know, there's something inherently wrong with the Circle Pad Pro to me. That's a whole different rant. But I don't have one of those. So playing, it's playable with a single Circle Pad, certainly. And you could argue that having the fixed camera fixed to your movement sort of adds to the horror, like when you have to turn sort of slowly and see what's behind you.
Right.
But at the same time, I can see it working just as well to have the second analog stick.
I think it's worth noting, too, that the visuals are really outstanding. It looks above and beyond it better than anything else out on the 3DS, and I still think it's going to be a while before we see anything on the system that can really rival it. And
yeah,
the game's... What's that?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the game's been out a year, and still nothing can really compare with it.
Yeah, I mean, the closest that I can think of is Kid Icarus Uprising, which was on my list. Like that's a visual... That does it with visual specific style, like it has this specific style. That looks great too, but really when it comes down to pure detail, Revelations has got it far beyond anything else I've played on the system. But yeah, that pretty much does it for me for what I've been playing.
All right, well, I guess that pretty much concludes today's episode. Again, thanks everybody for listening, and again, welcome Jay to the crew. He's been putting out a lot of reviews pieces lately, and it's just great having him around, so everybody give him a warm welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Woo! I'm so happy. I'm trying.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for listening. Check us out on our social networks on Twitter, HeyPoorPlayer on Twitter, on our Facebook group, HeyPoorPlayer. And again, stop by the site and the forums. Check us out. Thanks a lot. This is Dead Pixel signing out.